Hi everyone, welcome to Kole Sukailu, Real Aikaiwa Shadowing. Let's get started with today's shadowing lesson. Listen to today's real native conversation. Focus on the rhythm and shadow along. Hyomo, Ishoni, step up, Shimasho. Practice daily to master vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and rhythm. Repeat. Try again and again. Zehi. Shanaru no toroku wo. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
Ever been in an online meeting and the conversation just like veers off course? You know, like someone starts talking about their cat instead of, the project?
Well, today we're going to talk about how to gracefully get things back on track.
Oh, yeah, I bet. We have all been there, right? So, what are some phrases that we can use in English when that happens?
Right. So first off, there's the classic, let's get back on track. It's pretty straightforward and everyone understands it. But there are other ways to do it too, more conversational ways.
Okay, that's good to know. So it's not just, let's get back to the main subject, which, while correct, can sound a little stiff.
Exactly. It can feel kind of formal. So a good alternative is, can we refocus for a moment? It's a bit softer, less like you're telling everyone off, and it kind of invites people to come back to the topic.
Refocus. I like that. It's like, hey, team, let's all get our heads back in the game without being too bossy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it is very useful if things have gone really off the rails, so to speak, when the discussion is so far from the main point. Okay, so let's get back on track is straightforward. Can we refocus for a moment is a gentle nudge. What else you got?
All right, another one is, so to bring us back to the main point, it is a great way to transition, when you're taking back the control of the conversation, especially when you're the one leading the meeting.
Ooh, that's a good one. So to bring us back, like you're gently guiding a straying sheep back to the flock.
Totally. And you can also use, going back to what we were discussing earlier,
Yeah.
It's great for when the side conversation has moved away from the original subject.
Yeah, I get it. It's kind of like saying, remember when we were talking about, the important stuff? Let's get back to that.
Right. And finally, I think we're getting a little sidetracked, shall we? It's a gentler way of saying, hey, we've gone off on a tangent.
Sidetrack. That's a good one. It's less direct than off topic, and it's more conversational. So it's a good way to remind people without sounding like a buzzkill.
Exactly. It acknowledges the side conversation but brings it to a halt in a polite way. And the addition of shall we makes it more of a suggestion rather than a demand.
Right. So it's like you're saying, hey, let's get back to work, shall we? In a friendly way and not stop talking about cats.
Exactly. So you got let's get back on track. That's your straightforward option. Then can we refocus for a moment for a softer approach?
And for taking back control there is, so to bring us back to the main point.
Yeah.
And then for when you need to refer back, there's going back to what we were discussing earlier.
Yeah.
And lastly, I think we're getting a little sidetracked, shall we? Which is a more gentle way of nudging people back.
Perfect. So there you have it. 5 great ways to steer those online meetings right back on course, when the conversation starts to drift off to cat videos or other random topics.
Right. And the key here is to be both effective and polite, so you don't come off as a grumpy person.
Yeah. It's all about keeping the conversation productive while, still being friendly. Okay, so let's run through those phrases one more time just to make sure everyone's got it. First, let's get back on track.
Got it. Let's get back on track. Pretty self-explanatory.
Next, can we refocus for a moment?
Yeah. Can we refocus for a moment? Great for a more gentle approach.
Then, so to bring us back to the main point.
Right. So to bring us back to the main point. Very useful for leading the meeting back to the main point.
Next up, going back to what we were discussing earlier.
Going back to what we were discussing earlier, and that's good for when you need to bring the conversation back to something specific, yeah?
Yep. And lastly, I think we're getting a little sidetracked, shall we?
I think we're getting a little sidetracked, shall we? And it's a softer way to bring things back on topic. Makes perfect sense.
All right, we've finished today's lesson. How did you find it? Kyomo Sukoshi Zutsu step up. Dekimashita ne. Hontoni. Sugoi desu. Please let me know your thoughts or requests in the comments. And Zehi Cheneru no Toroku wo Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again. Ashita mo. Ishoni. Gambari mashone. See you next time. Bye-bye.